Tonight, a critical test in the race for the White House. 5 Republicans battling to become their party's 2024 presidential nominee. The candidates ready to make their case on why they're prepared to be commander-in-chief amid 2 wars on the world stage, how they plan to tackle stubborn inflation, and how they can unite a deeply divided electorate. Who is best to take on President Biden? And can any of them first beat former President Trump, who's far ahead in the polls? The candidates are here. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, former UN Ambassador Nikki Haley, entrepreneur Vivek Ramaswamy, former New Jersey Governor Christie, and South Carolina Senator Tim Scott.
From NBC News, the Republican presidential debate. Live from the Adrian Arst Center in Miami, Florida.
And good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the 3rd Republican presidential debate. I'm Lester Holt, anchor of the NBC Nightly News. Good evening, I'm Kristen Welker, moderator of Meet the Press. And I'm Hugh Hewitt. I'm from the Washington Post. But before we begin tonight, one last thing. Kristen, Hugh, cheers. Cheers. Ah, that was refreshing. Alright, let's get this chaos started. Let's meet the candidates. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis. Former South Carolina Governor and former UN Ambassador Nikki Haley. Entrepreneur Vivek Ramaswamy, looking extra mad tonight. Former New Jersey Governor Christie. And South Carolina Senator Tim Scott. Wait, Tim Scott qualified for this debate? Yes, I had one last unknown poll at last minute. Oh, the RNC told us it was just 4 candidates, but alright. Anyways, let's have a good debate. This first question is for all of you. Donald Trump is the first ex-president to run again for the White House for the first time in 100 years. Why do you think you're the better person to be the nominee than him? Governor DeSantis, let's start with you. This country is in chaos right now. And the people in power right now, they don't care about you. They don't care about high gas prices, inflation that is destroying the value of the American dollar. As you can see from the last 3 years, the leadership in position now, they don't care about you, but I care about you. So on my first day as president, I will not stand idly by and sleep in the chair in the Oval Office. I will get things done to stop the madness in this country. And let me tell you this, the stakes are more different than they were in 2016. And Donald Trump is a more different guy than he was in 2016. He should be on this stage tonight, making the case for why he should be given another chance. He said Republicans would get tired of winning. After what I saw last night, I'm tired of Republicans losing. All right, thank you, Governor DeSantis. Ambassador Haley, the exact same question. Well, Lester, if you can see what's happened the last 8 years, Donald Trump has caused a disaster in the party. We are $33 trillion in debt, and our children, our grandchildren, our great-grandchildren are never going to forgive us for that. And I think it's time that we have an accountant in the White House to make big spending cuts with our debt. All right, thank you, Ambassador Haley. Mr. Ramaswamy, why do you think you're the better option than Donald Trump? Okay, before I answer that question, Lester, I'm going to start a rant here. I was more stunned by last night than any other American. Ever since Ronna McDaniel took over the RNC in January of 2017, Republicans have failed to lead one positive election cycle. We have lost elections in 2018, 2020, 2022, and we lost big yesterday in 2023. I say we need to move on from the failed leadership in the RNC. And Ronna, if you want to come back up here again and state your resignation, I'd be more than happy to yield my time to you. No, thank you, Vivek. I'm more than happy to lead the Republican Party next election cycle. Even if we lose more again, I'm more than fine to do that. I mean, it's clear to me, we need new leadership in this country. Do you want new generation leadership, or do you want Dick Cheney and 3-inch heels over here? And let me tell you this. Why do we have NBC here? This should be Tucker Carlson, Joe Rogan, and Elon Musk. We have crazy liberal NBC correspondents here. Heck, we even have Kristen Welker here. And let me tell you this, Kristen. You pushed the Russian collusion hoax on the network for years. Answer my question now. Was that true or fake Hillary Clinton, George Soros-based hoax? Answer. No, thank you, Vivek. Let's move on to Governor Christie, shall we? No, seriously, answer my question. Mr. Ramaswamy, your time is up. Governor Christie, why should you be the nominee than Donald Trump? Well, Kristen, if you can see what's happened in our party the last couple of years, we can't lead a positive election. We can't even lead under Donald Trump. Ever since Donald Trump was elected, we couldn't lead a positive election cycle for the Republican Party. A man who's fighting all next year to get out of the courtroom cannot possibly lead this party. It's not possible. Thank you, Governor Christie. Senator Scott? Well, as you can know, I was raised with very good Christian values. My mama, she raised me well. I have her here tonight along with my real-life girlfriend. The media can stop speculating that she's fake, which she's not. She will be on the stage by the end of the night. Bull. Excuse me, Lester? Nothing, Senator. Let's move on to the next question, shall we? The Israel-Hamas war has been over a month old now. How would you help Israel in its fight for war and peace? And how would you stop the pro-Palestinian college protests? Governor Haley, you're the first to answer. Well, first I want to say that there are 5-inch heels, and I don't walk in them unless you run in them. Well, the first thing I told Netanyahu when this began was, finish them. Finish them. And let me tell you this, all these protests on college campuses that are pro-Palestinian, let me tell you this, Hamas said death to America and death to Israel. They will come to kill you too. So you better stop supporting Palestinians in this fight for Hamas. Or otherwise, you will be dead next. Alright, thank you, Ambassador. Governor DeSantis? Well, look, I'm more than stunned that these pro-Hamas protests are happening on college campuses. Some of these protests are happening in the state of Florida. Let me tell this to immigrants who immigrated to Florida and are supporting all of these protests. If you support Hamas, I'm canceling your visa and sending you the heck out of here. If you ever join one of these protests, I'll cancel your visa, kick you out of Florida. Because all of this woke Hamas support has got to stop. And when you come to Florida, Florida is where the woke goes to die. I say that again today, 1 year after my big landslide victory. Alright, thank you, Governor DeSantis. Governor Christie. Well, as you know, Lester, I was the governor of a state that had a big Muslim population. And of course, last month, when the 7-year-old boy, the Palestinian boy, was killed by his landlord by a hate crime, I was more than sickened by it. But I have to agree that these protests have got to stop. Supporting Hamas is not the best thing. It's not the best guidance to peace in Israel. As president, I will send aid to Israel in their effort to stop Hamas every step of the way. Alright, thank you. Alright, let's begin the next question. Kristen? Alright, thank you, Lester. As we know now, President Biden has been sending Ukraine aid to Ukraine in their fight to stop Russia. If any of you become the commander-in-chief, would you support continuous support for Ukraine? Would you support more Russian aid to Ukraine in dollars? Mr. Ramaswamy, you have the floor. Let me just say this once and for all. There is no Russian domination of Ukraine. There has never been any Russian domination, and there never will be under a Ramaswamy administration. We gotta stop sending America's tax dollars to Ukraine. We are just wasting money. Let me tell you this. Ukraine, it is not democratic. They threatened to hold off elections until the next 2 years, unless the U.S. handed them money. That is not democratic. And let me tell you this. Zelensky, he's a Nazi. All right. Mr. Ramaswamy, you realize that the Republican Jewish Association sponsors this debate. You shouldn't be saying stuff like this. I don't care. I have the right to free speech. Zelensky is a Nazi. And there is no Russian domination of Ukraine, and there never will be in a Ramaswamy administration. Reminds me of the days when Gerald Ford was president. Okay, we're cutting your time, Mr. Ramaswamy. Governor Haley? Kristen, let me just say, Vladimir Putin and President Xi will be more than happy if that guy becomes president. If Vivek was president, he would support Russia all the way, destroy Ukraine. And we're not going to be turning our backs on our friend Ukraine. We are not going to give in to a thug and a murderer. All right, thank you, Governor Haley. Hugh, I think it's time you give a question to the candidates. Oh, really? Finally. Oh, this question. All right. TikTok has become a big issue with Chinese spying related issues. Most of you on this stage have agreed that you want a national TikTok ban, but there are some roadblocks. Governor Haley? Well, first of all, I wanted to address these two about their attacks against me over Chinese land that I bought 10 years ago in South Carolina. But let's start with Ron, shall we? He has owned companies that deal with China. And just last week, the companies say that Florida is the place for Chinese business. And all of these companies, they're expanding almost to a naval base in Florida. And yet he's not willing to give up those businesses, those Chinese businesses in Florida. I had mine 10 years ago. Yours was 6 months ago, Ron. What's your story? And so I abolished that company. No, you didn't. Have you sold your Chinese land in South Carolina? Yes, 10 years ago. And you haven't sold yours yet, so you're tough. You say you're tough on China? Give me a break. You're soft on China. All right, Mr. Ramaswamy, we talked about this before. You campaign on TikTok. How will you get a nationwide ban of TikTok if you use it? Well, first of all, I want to call out Governor Haley for not answering your question. And let me say this. In the last debate, she made fun of me for using TikTok while her own daughter has been using TikTok for many months now. So you might want to deal with your family first, Nikki. Leave my daughter out of your voice. I mean, it's clear and simple, Nikki. Why do you have your daughter on TikTok in the first place? It is so stupid. So you can't be talking about me using TikTok. And what was that, keep my daughter out of your voice? What are you, Will Smith, defending Jada?
Name out your fucking mouth.
Oh my God, he's here?
Yes.
Why is he even here at this debate in the first place? He shouldn't even be here. He should be in California.
Keep my wife's name out your fucking mouth.
Well, she ain't even your wife anymore, so I don't know why you keep calling her that.
Keep my wife's name out your mouth.
All right, fine. I'll keep her name out of my mouth. But I'm not going to stop talking about Nikki's daughter, I'll say that. Do you have some sort of obsession with my daughter or something? No, it's not that, Nikki. It's just that you make fun of me for using TikTok while I make fun of your daughter for using TikTok. You're just scum. All right. Audience, please let's not do this, okay? All right. See, we're all out of time for right now. So let's just move on to closing statements, shall we? Beep. Well, look who paused the debate. Finally. I hate these debates. It's just a bunch of job interviews. All these losers. The Sanctimonious at 12. The rest of them, 3, 4, 5. For Nikki Haley, for example, 9. Asa Hutchinson, I mean, he's at 0. He shouldn't even be running. I can explain all these candidates in many ways. First, let's start off with little Timmy Scott. He's just a lonely old single man who claims he has a girlfriend, but we all know it's a lie. We all know the lady, that hot, sexy blonde, over there right next to his mother. That's not his girlfriend. That's just some woman paid by his campaign to look like his girlfriend. In fact, I think that's Sarah Jessica Parker right there. Alright, boys and girls, let's go down the line of candidates who I assume are all just losers. Next in line, Ramaswamy. He ain't even his own candidate in his own campaign. He's just my surrogate for these debates. Next in line, we have little Ron the Sanctimonious with his fake smile on. I tell you, once he was a star, but now he's a fallen wounded bird. Once he was at 22%, now he's at 12, barely struggling to get out of single digits. Nikki Haley, on the other hand, I think she's a good contender. I think she has a good shot. Maybe in 2028. Next in line, Sloppy Chris Christie. He's such a big fat loser, I'll say that. He probably chowed down on the whole Chinese buffet. He can't even bear to look at me. He can't even bear to look at me in the eye. Well, it seems that I've stalled closing arguments for all of them. It seems I have stopped liberal NBC, even more liberal, I believe, than CNN. Struggling in the ratings, CNN. Now I need to head back to my seat. And you know who I'm behind? Will Smith. Well, I believe it's time to unfreeze them all. Beep. And it's clear, Nikki, you're biased against China. I am not biased against China. You are biased against TikTok bans because you own TikTok. Oh, I'm getting word from our producers that we're in very low ratings right now. And apparently we don't have time for any closing arguments now. So that's all for this debate. I'm Lester Holt. I'm Kristen Welker. I'm Hugh Hewitt. Please take care of yourself and each other. Good night. Come here, you stupid deplorable. This'll teach you a lesson about talking about my daughter. You'll never take me alive, Nikki. Ha ha. Come here. Hey, Casey. Hey, Ron. Let's just smile and wave at the audience, Casey. Just smile and wave. Hey there, son. My very thinner son. Where is my mama and my girlfriend? Timothy! Mama! Hey, my mama. You did great tonight, honey. Thank you, mama. Hey, Mindy. Hey, Tim. Glad you came tonight, sweetheart. I'm glad I did came tonight. You did good. Thanks. Thanks, sweetheart. We did a great job tonight, guys. We deserve this. What is it? Oh my God! It's Tim Scott's girlfriend! Shh! Everyone in the audience, look at this! It's Tim Scott's girlfriend! What? Huh? Ah, there. Now, Vivek, have you learned your lesson for talking about my daughter? Yes, I understand, Nikki. I'm sorry. You're just scum, you know that? You're a scumbag. Where's my wife and my son? Huh, they must have gone somewhere. I tell you, it's weird to see Will Smith here tonight. Glad he wasn't with Jada.
Keep my wife's name out your mouth!
There is no Soviet domination of Eastern Europe, and there never will be under a Ford administration.
I'm sorry, could I just follow? Did I understand you to say, sir, that the Russians are not using Eastern Europe as their own sphere of influence?
And there is no Russian domination of Ukraine, and there never will be in a Ramaswamy administration. Reminds me of the days when Gerald Ford was president.
Think about who's moderating this debate. This should be Tucker Carlson, Joe Rogan, and Elon Musk.